From Mr. Snurrub to Jub Jub, nerds like a lot of things, but there's something they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is a Simpsons episode of Actually. Joining us today, we have Haley Mancini.
Hi, everybody.
Kirk D'Amato.
Weeza Wuzza?
And Julia Prescott.
Ahoy, hoy.
Man, this is like already smile on my face. This is, the weird thing is that we've done so many episodes of this, and The Simpsons is probably the thing I actually know the most about, and I've done the fewest questions about. But man, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a great time.
Then we'll quiz you later.
Yeah. No way.
The tables, the student will become the teacher.
Yeah. I've already accepted that I'm going to lose to Julia.
No.
Look, life is just one failure after another.
Right.
Just wish Julia was.
I'm going to say we're all going to have a perfectly cromulent time today.
Oh,
And big in
Yes,
holes. Yeah, it's going to be okay.
Lovely. Well, the three of you are you're all Simpsons fans. I have here a stack of Simpsons statements from about the Simpsons that are incorrect somehow. There's something wrong with these. It'll be up to you to correct me. All corrections must be preceded with the phrase actually. If you don't, I won't give you the point, and you can interrupt me whenever you want. Let's go ahead and get started then. Buzzers at the ready, and we'll start with our first statement here. In 2001, The Simpsons ended a clip show episode with a parody of We Didn't Start the Fire called They'll Never Stop the Simpsons, which summarized past episodes and speculated about crazy episodes yet to come. Some potential future episodes include Marge becoming a robot, Moe getting a cell phone, and Selma marrying Grandpa Simpson, all of which later became real plot points in later seasons.
Okay, actually,
Yeah.
the Marge doesn't become a robot. That's not an episode that comes up.
That would make sense, and that is in fact the correct answer. Yeah. But
this is my robot.
there's other-
I don't know why. Somebody asked me why I do this the other day, and I was like, I don't know.
Hell, now I've become self-conscious about this. All those other things were eventually like things that you do actually see in The Simpsons, which feels like a weird meta joke on ourselves of just like, like what was once could you even imagine if we did a story like this has become.
But then when you get greenlit for season 30, you start to go, what were we talking about in 2001? Does anybody know?
Moe
Let's go
gets
back.
a cell phone. I see some possibilities
For
there.
season 30, we only hire from Harvard.
Yeah.
We're running out.
Right.
I do get it, because there are some times, like I've been writing sketches, college humor for a long time, and there are definitely sometimes it's like, okay, another week, I need some more ideas. And like, what do I have in the file? What's going on back
100%.
here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that was at that point. We'll go to Haley, and we will move right along. Even characters on The Simpsons like to give you things to correct. In the episode Lisa's Substitute, a substitute teacher, Mr. Bergstrom, enters class dressed as a Texan cowboy from 1830 with 3 things wrong with his outfit. Lisa wins his hat after correctly identifying his anachronistic revolver, the state of Texas belt buckle, and his digital watch. Yes, Kirk.
I don't believe it's the revolver.
No, there was a Smith & Wesson revolver that was not formed at that time. Haley.
Actually, it was the watch. Is not correct.
The watch is not correct. Do you remember what it is?
Do I have to know what it is?
I will give it to you
Okay,
unless someone else can tell me what it is.
I just know that I know the Texas. I know the other two are right. Is all
Yes.
I know. That she's like
Right.
Texas didn't become a state until da 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 da. So I know that. I also know that Mr. Bergstrom looks like our friend Josh Covet.
Yeah. Add a fact about this episode
Sure.
that is not in regards to the question.
Absolutely.
But it was played by, of course, Dustin Hoffman in Lisa's Substitute. Do you know what his end credit, his
Yes, I do.
name? What was it?
Semitic.
Semitic, yeah.
Semitic, yeah.
Because it was a joke
Yeah.
about anti-Semitism.
See, I thought she had said something about Jewish cowboys, but I couldn't remember the exact joke. That there were Jewish cowboys.
That Kirk.
So we all get a point.
Yeah, oh, great. Okay, we're all on the board.
Kirk,
Stress is
actually,
over.
you've landed on what it is. You didn't say actually, but the 3 things that Mr. Bergstrom has are the 3 things that I listed, which are the belt buckle, the revolver, and the digital watch. But what Lisa identifies are the belt buckle, the revolver, and that Mr. Bergstrom is Jewish, and she does not believe that there were any Jewish cowboys, which he's like, I'll give it to you, but I was also wearing a digital watch, which is what I was really looking for.
So it seems that this fits perfectly with giving me a point. I focused in on the digital watch, but I didn't know what the other thing was.
I still say we should all
and
get
I
a point.
said I'm actually.
I didn't want to be offensive. I was like, how do I put this in a
How do
way
I talk about how Mr. Bergstrom is Jewish without sounding like I'm...
You already said the Sam Iddick thing.
Right.
Then rules say.
Yeah, it's fair. I don't need the point.
I'm going to give it to Haley. It feels appropriate for this particular question, and Kirk didn't say,
She argued her way into another point.
Well, point for Haley there.
Yay!
Yay! Here's our next question. Do the Bartman, a 1991 song featuring Bart Simpson rapping, topped the charts in the United States, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Additionally, it reached top 10 in Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Spain, Sweden, and the Netherlands, and was certified gold in the United Kingdom. Yes, Julia.
Actually, it wasn't certified gold in the United Kingdom.
It was.
Damn it! I really thought you were gonna ask an MJ question, so I was really prepped for that.
Waiting for like.
I was like, he wasn't credited. Okay.
But he's in there.
But he's in there.
You could tell it was them.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't it just the Bartman? Isn't it just Bartman? It's not Do the Bartman, is it?
I think it is Do the Bartman.
Okay, well, you know.
But
I had nothing to say about
look,
the
we'll check on it. Maybe I got it wrong.
It's probably one of those countries, but I'd have to hear it again, and I'm gonna guess.
I'm gonna try again.
Yes, please.
Actually, it wasn't a 1991 song.
It was 1991. I wouldn't be that. I wouldn't be that mean.
Just
actually, Finland hated it. It didn't hit there.
I'll go ahead and I'll call it because we're just gonna end up. We are gonna end up guessing countries.
I think they actually love The Simpsons because I know they love Conan.
Really, the Finns? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so what was it?
It did not top the charts in the United States. of all those countries where it did.
That makes sense.
Because it was not released as a single in the United States.
Oh.
So even though it got a lot of radio play and was very popular here, it didn't actually qualify for any of these like official rankings of like where it charted.
They didn't release it as a single?
Isn't that crazy? Like clearly it's popular.
Right. Oh my! Part of Simpsons Sing the Blues.
Yeah.
So what, did it win accolades as part of an album here?
That's
for
a
Simpsons
good
Sing the
question.
Blues?
I don't know if
I don't think it did.
Yeah.
I'll look that up, but there is one thing that we need to correct, which is that. So first of all, it is called Do the Bartman, but while it did top the charts in '91, it actually is a 1990 song.
You know what?
Okay. All right.
You know what?
I had to.
We'll retroactively give that to Julia.
You got one of the cool Jeopardy who give you points back.
I love it.
We didn't mean to make the mistake.
By default.
Stop that chanting. Well, didn't mean to do that, but I guess that'll go to Julia for a mistake that we made.
It's not the first time I've heard that in my life.
Well, we will move right along here. In a show with so many characters, not everyone is going to get a name. Here are some recurring characters who don't have a real name. Blue-haired lawyer, Springfield's most prominent lawyer, old Jewish man who sang The Old Gray Mare and was once a Warner Brothers executive, the Yes Guy, who is a tribute to Frank Nelson, and the comic book guy who runs the Yes.
Comic book guy has a name, and it is Jeff Albertson. My points!
Kirk, you did not say I'm actually.
I'm actually comic book guy has a name and it's Jeffrey Albertson's Jeffrey Albertson.
Actually, when comic book guy was first conceived, he did not have a name, and I don't think that we should assign him a name because it was retroactively given in a later season.
Holy crap.
What?
I don't think you could say that something's. Wait.
Actually, when comic book guy was first conceived, it was just comic book guy. And for years on The Simpsons, he was just comic book guy. And then as a gag and an interesting Easter egg in a later episode, they assigned him a name, and I don't think that counts.
Actually, it was the Super Bowl episode, and they did it specifically because it was the Super Bowl episode, and they knew that it would get this reaction. They knew that one day Kirk D'Amato would get it right, and he would do the thing he does in every episode. He forgets to say, really?
He's proving my point more.
Actually,
I just want to comment that as Kirk was landing on this, he said, and he forgets to say, really?
I feel bad about this, but I am going to give this to Haley. There's one rule you got to say actually.
I know. Okay. I will get it next season.
I think as upsetting as it is, we have to accept canon as it gets established. You know,
Yes, as upsetting as it is, Haley, we have to accept Haley's point.
If the Star Wars prequels get to be canon, then Jeffrey Albertson gets to be.
All right.
It's a reasonable argument.
But yeah, I mean, I like. All things that you said are also things I was going to mention, like that this was sort of like intentionally designed to get a rise out of people, to be like, what if we give him the most mundane name possible? Wouldn't people hate that? And it turns out, yes, they do.
Yeah, I certainly do.
Because
Yes, I certainly do.
there's sort of like there's more of a mystique if it is just this sort of like unnamed, like you're just comic book guy, and like that's just sort of, you're defined by this position you hold.
Well, also, I mean, when you're writing television, you don't think too hard that a trivia show on internet TV is going to be picking apart your decisions that are made right before lunch, you know?
But those side characters always end up, every single show I've ever written on, there's a side character that were like, person that catches Frisbee. Oh my God, they became a huge part of, like, they grew into a vital
I love that
part
Frisbee
of the show.
guy.
Yeah.
He's got no emotional hang-ups that I need to follow.
But yeah.
He just has to catch that Frisbee.
He just catches it and goes,
him
got it.
Well, at that point, we'll once again go to Haley. And this will bring us to our first shiny question of the game. Shiny questions, like shiny Pokemon, are worth the same number of points, just a little bit different and a little bit rarer. This is a game we're calling Be Our Guest Star. Or See Our Vest Star.
Yeah.
As you know, there have been a ton of special guests on The Simpsons. In fact, I believe it holds the record for most special guests any show has ever had. On the other side of this card, we have images of just some of the people who have appeared on the show, but one of them has not. So it is up to you to try to find, try to identify the person on the other side of this card who has not lent their voice to The Simpsons. First person who can identify it will get the point.
Okay.
Go ahead, take a look.
Oh my gosh.
Haley.
Oh God, I didn't even have this.
Actually, Rupert Murdoch wasn't on it?
Incorrect.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Actually, Stephen Hawking wasn't on it?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
You know, sometimes you got to take a chance.
Sure.
There's a safe bet here, and there's a hard bet here.
Okay.
Props to you for going with Rupert Murdoch, who I didn't think would be part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with, actually, I guess I have to say that.
Sure.
Quentin Tarantino. That's my risky bet.
That is correct.
Here's the thing. You see, Quentin
I never
Tarantino,
would've
the
guessed that.
character
Can I
does
guess?
appear in an Itchy the Scratchy. Kirk, I earned my place here. I beat 15,000 other people who were supposed to be here. I got them sick, so they had to cancel, and I'm here. Quentin Tarantino's in that episode, but it's not voiced by him.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, his image is portrayed on the show, but he does not lend his voice. Well, point for Kirk there. Don't! We screwed up, and you caught us. Here are some of our favorite corrections from you.
At Duke of Zouk says, children beating Tio de Nadal with sticks don't sing a Spanish rhyme, it's in Catalan, as this tradition is from Barcelona and the surrounding regions. The song encourages the log to poop out yummy nougat candy, and who could resist that? What's this? Fresh off the presses from our exclusive Dropout Discord. Bowerbird says, actually, in Dungeons & Dragons, Darrow aren't necessarily related to dwarves. They are described as dwarf-like, and Duergar theorized that they might have once been dwarves driven insane by mind flayers, but nobody knows for certain, least of all, the Darrow themselves. I will give you something that is very point-like, but is not a point. Seer of Mind 413 says, actually, technically Santa in Futurama isn't called Robot Santa, as there is no other Santa to confuse him with. The term Robot Santa is for the fans, not the actual characters, therefore it's technically just Santa. And for this very technical technicality, I will give you 1 Christmas point.
This brings us back to our regular old standard actually question.
Standard ugly question.
Gross
Not
old
shiny.
regular ones. The Trouble with Trillions features a $1 trillion bill that has all the presidents having a party. Carter is passed out on the couch. The bill is stolen by Mr. Burns, who was later arrested by 2 FBI agents for grand larceny.
Actually, Carter's not the one passed out on the couch.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Actually, it's not the FBI.
Incorrect.
Actually, it's not all the presidents having a party.
That is correct. Can you be more specific?
It is. It's a president on there, but it's not all the presidents having a party.
I knew it. That's what I was ringing in on first, and then I was like, wait,
Carter
what
is passed out on a couch.
They have so many presidential jokes over the seasons.
Yeah, I'll give you the point unless someone else can tell me what it should be.
Is that all the presidents?
Just give me the point.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Julia, you're getting that point.
Yeah.
This is intended to be a little tricky. It's Truman is on the $1 trillion bill. He prints it to help reconstruct post-World War II Europe. That specific line, it has all the money with all the presidents. That is a different joke from the Mr. Plow episode,
That's it.
in which he claims to have a $10,000 bill.
I knew there was one person on it, and
Yes.
and then when you started saying the rest of the thing, I was like, no, wait.
I've heard this before.
Yes.
You have heard it before. The Homer's invented $10,000
This
bill
is why they
has
tell
all
you
the
during the
presidents.
SAT when they're teaching you how to do the SATs. They're like, go with your first answer, don't second guess yourself.
Yeah, here's our next
no, I'm
statement
so scared
here.
of all of this.
He's Troy McClure, and you may remember him from such educational and self-help work as Smoke Yourself Thin, Meat and You, Partners in Freedom, Firecrackers, The Silent Killer.
Actually, meat and you is incorrect.
Oh, don't think so.
Oh,
You sound
really?
very confident though, which
Did you
makes me.
finish?
I did not finish.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, I thought you had finished.
Oh no,
it.
we got a lot more here.
I'm really falling apart.
Chris?
Smoke Yourself Thin, Meat and You, Partners in Freedom, Firecrackers, The Silent Killer, and 60 Minutes of Car Crash Victims. You may also.
Actually, it's not 60 Minutes of Car Crash Victims.
Nope, that is a real
Damn
thing that you may remember Troy McClure from.
Yeah.
You may also remember him from such films as Radioactive Man, Everybody Poops, The Erotic Adventures of Hercules.
Actually, I got it.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He's not Radioactive Man.
He actually is in
What?
Radioactive Man. He is in God, what are the specifics of this? He's in it.
I believe he's in the original version of
original
Radioactive
one.
Man.
Dirk Richter.
I said the same thing when I saw this question come in. I was like, that's not right. And it's but there's an earlier version of Radioactive Man that Troy McClure.
Actually, it's not Everybody Poops.
That is correct.
Yeah.
They would never. Plus, they're far too creative in those.
Well, he wasn't in Everybody Poops. Dennis Leary was in Everybody Poops, according to within the Simpsons universe.
But that one doesn't follow that Troy McClurean kind of path
Of
erotic
of, like,
adventures of Hercules.
Fireworks, the Silent Killer,
Yes,
et cetera,
yes.
et cetera.
It has to have a colon in there to get a double joke.
Yes.
It's a two-hander.
I just have to read the last one that we didn't get to, which is the Contrabulous Fab Traption of
yes.
Professor Horatio Humphrey.
Yeah,
my
I've seen
That's his magnum
posters for
opus.
this.
That's the best
Yeah.
one.
Do you have more
Troy
information?
McClure portrayed Radioactive Man in the 1980s Radioactive Man trilogy that didn't do very well.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Great.
like a throwaway joke
Yeah.
in one
Yeah.
episode of it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. In case you're wondering, for the Dennis Leary Everybody Poops, Leary plays a constipated gorilla sitting atop a throne and ends up with a truckload of shit dumped on him. That is that.
That's some satire.
Yeah. Look, I know some of these questions are from those post-10 episodes, but I have to, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll keep it moving. Every year since its second season, The Simpsons has released a special Treehouse of Horror episode composed of multiple short stories of science fiction and terror. These episodes are considered non-canonical since they often feature death and disfigurement of beloved characters. However, that also means that Kang and Kodos from the planet Rigel 7 are also not canon, even though they've appeared in every single Treehouse of Horror. Yes?
Actually, they haven't appeared in every single Treehouse of Horror.
They have, actually. Even if it's just yeah.
Actually, they're not from Rigel 7.
They are from Rigel 7.
Yeah.
Julia?
Actually, there are episodes of The Simpsons that are not Treehouse in which Kang and Kodos have appeared.
That is correct.
Oh, so that's real subtle.
There is, in fact, exactly one episode, very late, late Simpsons, in which Kang and Kodos appear canonically, which means that, and it is, let's see, it is season 26, episode 10.
Yes, baby!
Yeah. Julia.
Anything goes post-season 10. That's when they reset the timeline of when Marge and Homer met. They made it the 90s. That's when they got silly McBain style. I love
They
it.
started
Are you
changing
saying it's-
birthdays, like,
They
like
were
days of the
changing
month
birthdays,
too,
yeah,
like that,
and,
right?
and yeah, they were coming under fire for that, but they've always said in their defense that they're just having fun, and
Sure.
that's what they should be doing. They're making a comedy program.
Sure.
That's true.
Well, that point will go to Julia. And this will bring us to our second shiny question. This is a very simple game. This is what's wrong with this picture? So on the other side of this card, you will see an image that we have altered in some way. First person who can identify what is wrong with this image will get the point. And flip. Oh, Julia's buzzing in.
Well, I believe that Smithers' hair is inaccurate.
That is incorrect.
Damn.
Actually, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Go
This
for
is
it.
wild. Actually, this is from the first season in which Smithers was black.
That is correct.
Ah, you're right. You're
Yes.
right. You're right.
This is from very, very early Simpsons
Okay.
era.
This isn't trying to steal a point or anything, but just first season again, like we said, they were trying to find their footing.
Yeah.
In what world does an animator color stylist do
Do a
this
blue
to a button?
That's cool. That should be a big red
Do
button.
they do? I mean, come on.
Very limited palette.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is.
Yep, the very early Simpsons where Smithers was black.
Why not?
It's just sort of interesting to me, like how because the Simpsons have been going on for so long, you get used to this sort of, it's like, oh, well, this is what it is for, 20 however whatever
Yeah,
seasons.
right.
That is like, it's like, yeah, like there's a lot of time for things to change, and especially in the early
I don't like
seasons.
change.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Me make mistake? That's impossible. If you notice something that I got wrong, though, you can correct me by tweeting at @UmActuallyShow or going to the Dropout Discord, the Actually Corrections channel, and correcting me there. If we like what you have to say, we might feature it in a future episode. Right, and we will go on to our next regular question. Hans Moleman has died dozens of times on The Simpsons. He's been eaten by alligators, executed by electric chair, crushed by a giant donut, eaten by wolves, run over by Homer's car more than once, impaled by a sword, and crushed by exploding whale flesh. Despite his apparent immortality, the 101-year-old man is the most...
I'm actually, he is 31.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You were ready for that, jumping on that.
I knew that was gonna get asked.
Yeah.
I was like, that's like a mole man question always comes up about it.
I just want to say that I knew that answer too, and I wrote a book about The Simpsons last year, and there was a chapter devoted to that.
To Hans, to
If
his
you look
age?
it up, yeah, there was
Just to his age, wow.
I bought your book, and I
Oh.
love your book.
Oh, thanks, Haley.
I never learned how to read. Mrs. Probopple never taught me how to
I
read.
call her Crandall.
Oh!
I've been gone. That's one of my favorite jokes
That's
of
a
all
great
time
joke.
because
It's
it's
such a
so
good joke.
genuine. He's
Yeah.
so
And it happens in
humiliating.
like season 6. Or
Yeah.
It's
Like
so
years and years of
calling her
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's a joke that you pitch in a writer's room, and you're like, take lunch, go home.
Yeah, that's
Like, you did it.
I was going to ask you. About your book, and specifically about this. Just tell me more about.
Yes. So I co-host a podcast called Everything's Coming Up Simpsons, or actually it used to be called that. Now we're in a new version of it called Around Springfield, where we're doing a 20-episode mini season of it for Maximum Fun, the podcast network, where we interview Simpsons writers and other Simpsons folk about non-Simpsons things. So we co-wrote this book. It's called 100 Things Simpsons Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. We talk about the writers, we talk about the voiceover actors, we talk about their relationship with Fox and how unique of a situation that is. Like sort of the early stories that you hear about The Simpsons, but sort of like we just lay out all the facts for it. But then we also talk about some of our favorite characters. One of my favorite chapters is called Pathetic People of Springfield. So yeah, that's available on Amazon right now.
That's
if you wanna
great.
buy it.
And I read it, and it's great.
And that's how I knew the
That's
answer
how
to
I
this
knew the
question.
answer. So if you want to know the answer to trivia, read her book.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go with our next one. In episode 2F09, when Itchy plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes the same rib twice in succession, yet it produces two clearly different tones. While you might think this is a fireable blunder, there is in fact an explanation. Anytime you see something like this, a wizard did it.
Actually, a wizard didn't do it, but you want me to go on.
I do. You are right. And I do want you to go on, but I'll give you the point.
I forgot you have to.
Yeah. Is it something to do with sort of like the music copyright issues of playing certain melodies and registration within BMI or ASCAP?
Oh, that's very funny. That's not even near where I'm going. No. I'll give you the point unless someone else can be more. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, why would a grown man with a t-shirt who says genius at work
Get outta
spend all
here.
of his time watching a children's cartoon show?
Yeah.
That's
the correct answer. Okay.
That is in fact the explanation that is
knew
given
it.
for
I knew
this.
it.
A Wizard Did It appears in a later episode in which Professor Frink asks about episode BF12 of Xena, in which Xena is battling barbarians while
right.
riding a winged Appaloosa, yet in the very next scene she's clearly atop a winged Arabian. The xylophone question is asked with what you said.
I thought
That's from the episode The Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie Show.
Yes.
This was written by David X. Cohen. So do I get points for that?
A classic on the show, which is that adding more information, unfortunately, does not get to the point. What
Kirk didn't say on our.
Kirk,
Oh my God!
Yes! What he said! I knew it!
Oh my
go,
God!
I take
Yes, you know what? It's the game. It's the name of the game. It's
What is
Julia's
this
now.
called? What is it? I can't read it. I never learned to read. I feel like a little.
If
like
I
a
won by
seal.
default again, if I won by default, I would love that.
Yeah.
It's a theme in my life.
I
Well,
really thought that I felt this question was going to happen, but I thought that you were going to do like 2G09.
oh, like I was going to change the
2F09
episode
is
title.
correct. And
Right.
I
Yes.
thought,
Yeah.
I was like ready for that.
I mean, I absolutely wanted to do a question about this because it's a whole question about
actually.
What we're doing.
nerdy fans
Yeah.
like being like super pedantic and correcting things.
Yeah.
Actually, did anyone actually say the answer again since I rang in? And can I ring in again and say actually first?
Julia did say actually what Kirk said.
Can I borrow a feeling, Kurt?
I
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Kirk
At least I've got my singing career, and I sleep in a car that's shaped like a racing bed. So I think.
I sleep in bed with my wife.
Oh.
Just let Arby's deal with the rest.
Normally, I would maybe take pity on you.
That's okay.
But one, it's 3 times, so it's very funny. Two,
And now Beetlejuice
two,
is
you
gonna
were
show up.
already sort of like adding information onto Julia's, and so I think the combination of things like I'm gonna give that point to
teamwork
Julia.
It's fair.
It's also just funnier this way. I'm very sorry.
I own it. I don't know what's wrong with me. There is a Simpsons reference that's appropriate for this, and perhaps you can put it in the comments.
Well, this brings us to our last shiny question of the game.
Oh no, are we going to have to draw?
You are gonna have to draw.
Oh!
Don't worry, I won't be judging your talent or ability here. This is a game called Fictionary, where I give you the name of a creature or monster, and it is up to you to draw it to the best of your ability. Again, not looking for like high quality drawings here, but looking for the key features that define that creature. Your creature is the Esquilax.
I knew it! I knew it was that!
The
I
what?
knew it!
The Esquilax.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shit.
You guys, okay, this is, I think, the only time I've ever gotten a point on this. Actually, Kirk, you've scored many points before because you're good at this show half the time. I've gotten this drawing one, and I beat that guy who's an artist, and I was like, eat it, man! And
I was going to say no, because I was on that
Oh,
one.
yeah,
It was
with
the
the kappa. It was
yeah,
the kappa.
you got that.
Oh, okay, so wait, it just has to look like the Esquilax.
It has, yeah, we're looking for the key features of the Esquilax. Kirk is capping his pen.
That pen is capped.
Julia, are you
I think I'm ready.
cool? How you doing, Haley?
Oh, yeah, sure, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
So, Haley, let's see your Esquilax.
Okay, so this is an Esquilax. It's a horse with hippo feet and a spiky tail. This is commonly found in the future Simpsons.
Very good.
It's canon.
Kirk, can you show us the Esquilax?
The Esquilax, the rare medieval creature with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit.
That is correct.
I have 2 Esquilaxes of my own at home.
I bet you do.
I do.
Julia, can you show us your Esquilax?
Mine is also a rabbit, but
Yeah.
I also threw in dignity just as a bonus. So the kind of a scrappy dignity, but if you knew dignity, you'd recognize it when you see it. It's one of my favorite
Fantastic. Well,
episodes, why don't
let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that Esquilax. Let's see what it should look like over here. There it is.
That's
The Esquilax is, of
right.
course, a horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit. Kirk and Julia, you both drew beautiful Esquilaxes. Esquilaxes. So that is a point for each of you. Haley, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, that's fair.
No point for your drawing there.
I won't even try to argue it like I always do.
Well, this brings us to our last question of the
no.
game. Our last question, as always, concerns real-life skills. When you're writing formal standard English, you'll want to be sure you're using real medular words. While the acceptability of words is socially defined, one simple standard is its appearance in the dictionary. All of the following words first appeared on The Simpsons and can now be found in either the Oxford English Dictionary or Merriam-Webster. Embiggen, cromulent, meh, jeebus. Yes?
Actually, embiggen is not in Webster's dictionary.
Embiggen is in one of those two. If it's on Webster's, then it's in the Oxford English
I swear to God,
Dictionary.
I just had it. Okay.
Yeah. Embiggen, cromulent, meh, jeebus, craptacular, and doe.
Actually, no, I was just enjoying Craptacular. But my answer for that is Jeebus. Actually, Jeebus is not in the dictionary.
Incorrect, yeah.
Actually, craptacular is not in the dictionary.
Craptacular is, yeah.
Wow.
All right. So,
I've-
actually, cromulent isn't.
That's correct.
Yes.
Cromulent,
Perfectly cromulent word.
despite being perhaps the most cromulent word on this list,
I'm sorry.
is not included.
Actually,
Yeah.
not to pull this card.
Please.
And maybe this person was wrong, but as I mentioned, I just recorded an episode with David X. Cohen,
Yeah.
creator or co-developer of Futurama, whatever. And in our conversation, we talked about cromulent being accepted into Webster's dictionary and embiggen not.
Let's check on it. When I was looking at this, what I found was the other way around, which is that like embiggen was
That could
and
have been-
and cromulent.
That's what I
even
thought.
though
Yeah.
even though it's like it has like I think it's perhaps more but go, what did you find?
It's listed on their words we're watching, which is like their potential candidates to be entered into the dictionary list, but it's not actually there.
That feels like a gray area to me.
It's not an official inclusion. They're considering it, but like it does feel like a notable exclusion because like I would have put cromulent over Jeebus,
Yeah.
or
yeah,
Jeebus is
especially
a
with
weird one.
religious ties.
Yeah.
With Jeebus.
Wow. So the Simpsons are like Shakespeare.
They
They're like
really
creating.
there
Oh
are
my
there
God.
truly are a lot
Or
of
the
words.
cousin
Yeah,
language,
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird.
Also, I said medular words at the top, which is not a word. It just
Right,
I
seemed
didn't think
fun.
I was like, but I was too afraid because I'm dumb. I was like, I don't think that's a word, but boy, I
knew you were gonna land on that question though for it being cromulent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Haley's? That was Haley's point.
Yeah,
Haley's
so
point.
it's
And so what is
tied.
it now? 626? 626?
That's a good zip code.
Six,
It's a
two,
good
area
zip-
code. 626. It's part of Bart's locker combination.
I think you're making that
I
up.
know, is it? If it is, then
36, 24, 26.
What?
Because I had the same locker combination in school, and I was like, am
See, I
I
can't.
Bart? Is that right?
I'm
36,
not.
24, 36. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
But 626
I remember numbers.
is not one of those 3 numbers separately are in there, but 626. I could have been 656, which is
26.
actually I'm really proud of
Is that-
myself.
That's true. The number of the number of things you answered that just whizzed past you.
Yeah, like I think I did pretty well.
You
this
gotta
episode.
say I'm actually, man. Like,
And one day.
it's basically
one
the
day.
only rule in the
know.
game. That means Haley and Julia are tied as winners for this round.
Good job. That's amazing.
But that is it for our episode. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections here on Actually.
Yay!
Shh. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And that's it for this preview of Actually. If you liked it, there's a whole lot more waiting for you on Dropout. Go to dropout.tv to start your free trial today. I'm Mike Trapp, reminding you to get your pets spayed and neutered, and to get your zombie pets obliterated. Zombie pets. They're not the pets you loved anymore. They're gone. They're gone. Kill them. Kill them.